there, friends. Happy Friday. Last Friday of 2017, the last weekend of 2017, and we are getting set to usher in a brand new year. Isn't that exciting? I think, you know, New Year's is a wonderful time to kind of recapitulate and think about your life and, you know, plan new things, but don't get too heavy into that. You know, don't, you know, take it easy on yourself. I think when we get to the first of the year, we're always like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And it's like, we just put too much on ourselves. That's just a big, big burden. So think about what you want to do, you know, think about your plans but relax and enjoy and have a really happy New Year. I don't know how you guys celebrate. We celebrate very quietly here. We'll probably have a movie and snuggle with the dogs. It's kind of cool, kind of cold, so we won't be going anywhere, but that is cool with me. I've got 2 new journals for the shop, y'all, and I've got Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow is helping me hold this one up because it's got kind of a shiny bit on it. This is one of the Architecture 7 Gypsies embellishments. So we'll get Jack out from under here. What say you, Jack?
The greatest treasure often lies through the roughest seas.
Oh, the greatest treasure often lies through the roughest seas. Is that not the absolute truth? Wise words, Captain Jack. I love this little journal. I like the color of it. I like that it's brown with the damask, kind of damask design. This is like between a green and a blue. It's just such a pretty color, very different color. I finished this journal off with stone kind of amber beads and also some funky cool glass beads on this one as well. And I just noticed that it has a 31. So it's like the last day of the month, and then I just noticed that this one had a number 1 on it. So I guess I was kind of thinking New Year's when I did these. I didn't realize that I had done that until right now. All right, let's take a look inside and see what we see. This starts off with a signature from my sprayed papers tutorial where I stack stencils and then I spray them, and I spray the wall and the lamp and my light. Everything really got sprayed, but oh my gosh, it was fun because it was very I don't know, like liberating just to stack all that stuff on some white paper and just spray to your heart's content. It was fun. I've got some envelope flowers here, so you can immediately, when you crack open this journal, you can start on a project right there. We're focusing on story again, and I have you a mystery lady right here. Your prompt is joy. And this is a journal to write about what brings you joy. A lot of times us girls kind of forget about that. We forget what brings us joy. We think about our guy and what brings him joy, or our kids and what brings our kids joy, or our parents or whatever. But what brings you joy? Think about that. This is a little tag that I made. I'm loving doing this because it's one of those mindless things. You know, you sit down with some glue and some bits of paper and you just glue to your heart's content. It's kind of like the spraying thing. They're both very centering, calming kind of craft things to do. Lots of fun. All right, let's flip through here. I really do like this like stencil-ish paper. I think you can do a lot with this. You can tear it apart and use it on ATCs or bookmarks or tags. You can tear it apart and spray. You know, use some of your sprays with it. This is from a San Francisco travel brochure. This is from the 1964 Ladies' Home Journal magazine, and I know that we've talked about the absence of televisions in that magazine. Well, I did find one. There's a television right here, but there's also a sewing machine like sitting right beside it. And I have to read this to you. This is very, very interesting. It says, television has become part of American home life. But then it makes a point to say that the focal point of the comfortable family room is the fireplace. Behind the mantel overhang is a projection screen. Note the cupboard wood box that can be filled from outside the house. Reversible fiber rug withstands years of wear. So there we go. You know, it already we've got a projection screen and we've got a TV. I just thought that was really interesting because I know that we've talked about that magazine just not having a whole lot of television in it, which I kind of think is awesome. All right, let me stick her back in here. There we go. All right, and I've got painty papers for you to play with. And a tag that says hope. This is a little bit of distressed scrapbook paper. It's already kind of ready for you to do whatever you want to. Maybe you want to build some flowers on it. I've got a vintage bingo card here for you. Some pretty holographic paper. I love the washi tape. You are beautiful. Be amazing. That is a good thing to take into 2018. I've got a little image that's cut out of a card. Some pretty leaves for you. I know fall is over, but I just thought those were so pretty and wanted to include them in here. I love our coffee stuff, but first coffee. It's coffee o'clock. I love that. This is a napkin for you guys to play with. You know, you might want to do some Mod Podging with it. This pocket has some colors that I've been kind of really into cutting the colors from old calendars and just kind of cutting them up and seeing what images I get. I think it's kind of a surprise to kind of just go through and cut them up and then see what you get. I've got some vintage playing cards for you. There's a tag, and this is a resist piece in the back. This is from Shakespeare's Two Gentlemen of Verona, and it had such an interesting picture on it. This is a gigantic volume of Shakespeare. It is like this thick, and I've started taking some pages out of it because, frankly, I've used it as a weight, you know, when I make things and they need to be weighed down. And I just think that it has such interesting imagery in it that I would like to do more than use it as a tool to weigh things down. This is, I love face stamps, and I think that when you see a face, it immediately makes you, you know, you kind of think of a person or a person that looks like, or an era in time. This is a good one. This is one of those flashcard things. Which of these is not an image of Pocahontas? And I love that. I live on Marion Hill, and Marion Hill is where Chief Powhatan had one of his enclaves. And of course, Chief Powhatan was the father of Pocahontas. So I like to think that Pocahontas probably played in my backyard. Isn't that a fun thought to have? This says all you need is love, and we have moved the pockets from, of course, the front of the book to the inside of the book. So you've got a really thick pocket here full of things for you to play with. This is a tag that I made from some cereal box board. I love the lion. Isn't he adorable? And I thought this just kind of said something about love. You know, you got the lion with the heart, you got a rose. So I put in an index card and thought you might want to journal a little bit about that. I like this. She's so cute. She's a bird with a crown on her head. Two things that I love. This little guy says, save the whales. This says, today I will be happier than a seagull with a French fry. It reminds me of when my little boy was really small. He was eating a bag of potato chips on the beach, and you know how the seagulls will kind of attack you. So seagulls got after him, and he's running down the beach with the bag of Lay's potato chips and just having a wild old time. That's a good memory there. This is a beautiful, beautiful card. More of the sprayed paper. A red-headed woodpecker. I think that I have this type of woodpecker that pecks in my tree where my sunroom studio is, and he has pecked and pecked and pecked the tree. But the tree is also where the squirrels live, and I'm very reluctant to have it cut down. It's a very big, very pretty maple tree, but my little red-headed woodpecker has done a job on that tree. He's got holes all in it. This is a great little piece from Cracker Barrel. The lore says it looks like rain. Bees will not swarm before a storm. Trout jump high when rain is nigh. Flowers smell best just before the rain. Knots get tighter before it rains. I just thought that was so interesting. And on the inside, there's a little something about the jester in the box, and gives you a nice view of the eastern United States. Kind of love the Cracker Barrel stuff. Fun to read, those almanacs. And we have some Hebrew text for you. I think that's very lovely. Papers to play with. And, of course, birds. I love birds. This is a sweet little image. I got Chris physical photographs of he and his daughter together. And so this was kind of the paper that came in the frame. I just thought it was too cute to throw away. Look at his little baby toes. And this is a little bit about travel. This is a little page to encourage you to think about your magic moments and how can you unlock more of your magic moments. What are the things you really, really love to do or love to see or love to smell or love to taste? Any moment, even a small moment, has such magic to it. Every moment is magical. So unlock your magic moments. This is a great little piece. This is a song by Johann Sebastian Bach, and it's written in German with an English translation there. This is from the 1923 Sears and Roebuck catalog. It's folding steel couches and cots. That's interesting. This is a sweet little piece from the inspirational book, the Gibson's inspirational book, and I just really did like that. I like it a whole lot because someone's made notes in the along the margins of the book, and I think that just really does add to the meaning of any sort of ephemera if it's written upon. This is some of the shaker ephemera. This one's about Jamaica ginger. A little postcard, a vintage postcard, and a sticker that says happy. I had to show this to you guys. This is Mr. and Ms., of course, Harry Nielsen at 263 Beach Street, right? This is from 1930. It's got one of the, and I think those are called Christmas seals. Remember Christmas seals? So that's been there since 1930. Wild, isn't it? This is what the inside of the envelope looked like. It's like, wow. And I really do believe that is hand marbled paper. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And of course the stamp is gorgeous as well. This is from the, and I've got a date on the Red Cross manual. It's 1942, The Essentials of Happiness in Everyday Life. And down here it says there are 4 factors that are essential to the happiness of nearly every person from the time he is conscious of his own needs until he loses the ability to think for himself. These are health, security, self-expression, and congenial companionship. Love it. This is one of the MetaQuick cards, and it's about choking. This is my kitty cat. I'm running out of these. I love these little bags. These were Halloween bags. I found a bookmark that has Ariel on it. So I thought that that just played really nicely into this American Girls card. And then I put some tags in here for you, just a few, that say Faith. This has a pretty little butterfly on it. This says Faith, and this says Dream. More papers. I was really happy with the way that came out. I used some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist on that, and it really just kind of brought out the colors. I love this too. This is Maya Angelou. It says, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. She certainly had style. And just more papers, vintage papers. How to build sound mental and emotional health. This is a transparency. And these are some ABCs for you to play with. I think we're at the end. I love this. This is from a decorating book, and the author is talking about pillows. And I just thought that the whole little thing was just fascinating. And I've got a dress form in here for you, and some pattern directions as well as pattern paper. And this is one of my new fabric bookmarks that I've been experimenting with. So this is an experimental model, but I kind of like her, and I am really enjoying making fabric bookmarks. It's kind of something a little bit different. But I love to do things that are, you know, experimental and fun, and I think that is part of this super fun of making art, is being a scientist. You know, you're experimenting like all the time with different techniques, and I think it's one of the nicest things about creating art. This book, oh, sorry, y'all. This is a $45 journal, and she will be in the shop a little bit later on this afternoon. This is, I started putting her together, and I couldn't stop. And so I could not do any kind of art on the outside because she's already, like, I've got her so squished full of stuff. I don't know what it was. I just got started and I just couldn't stop, and it was like, well, and then I tried to close her, and literally she would not close at all. So I was kind of like, you know, you do the suitcase thing, right? You know, you kind of, I thought, I'm going to have to sit on this or something to get her closed. But she's fun, and she's got a lot of stories in her. I finished her off with wooden beads, and these are like some bone beads. And then for some reason or another, this little frog wanted to jump into the fun. So you've got a frog. He kind of looks like an ivory frog, but he's not ivory, but he has that kind of faux ivory finish to him. All right, this book starts off with one of my new bookmarks. I sure do like making those. There's lots of fun. This, of course, we're encouraging story. This says Dream. This is a little prompt from the J. Peterman catalog about bomber jackets from 1903. Now, this is also a driving jacket. Parliament passes the national 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, so the Autocycle Union, Britain's premier motorcycle club, goes to the unrestricted Isle of Man and creates the Tourist Trophy races. So I thought that would just spark your imagination right there. I'm sure that was someone's dream to go fast, you know, and you can think about your dream and what you might want to do. We've got some Cracker Barrel ephemera. This is a sweet little story from a magazine called Good Old Days about a 12-year-old who spent the time when she was 12 to 15. She had polio, and she spent it in a children's hospital, and it's just a really sweet story. This is a picture of a cedar, guy on a tractor. And I kind of like the way this kind of was segueing together. This is a page from the 1923 Sears and Roebuck catalog. It features blacksmithing supplies, which I thought was really interesting. These are plowshares, and I thought that, you know, just the story about plowshares. When I hear that word, I think about, you know, the Don Henley song, The End of the Innocents, beating plowshares into swords. So we've got lots of paper for you to play with, lots of super cool ephemera, lots of stories to read. Got you a fabric swatch in here to play with. There's some tags. A pocket of fun. A pocket of fun. This is a vintage playing card. This is another one of the cards that I'm making by utilizing just scraps. This is a scrap card. But it might inspire you to take some of the elements in this book and make a little scrap card for yourself. This is another Ladies' Home Journal magazine. It says television need never dominate a room, but it must be available without a great shifting of furniture. The above arrangement has a good deal of practicality. So do you see the TV right there? I believe that is the TV that we had when I was a child. And I remember, one of the first things I remember watching as a child was the funeral of John Kennedy. I remember that clear as day. I told my mom about that the other day. Here's some vintage sheet music that also talks about a happy little home. And this one talks about the little old log cabin in the lane. So we've got kind of a home theme going on here. This is from a decorating magazine with wall sconces. I think these are so beautiful. This is a little hidden pocket that has some treasures in it for you. And some education ephemera. More of the sheet music. Be in full bloom, and of course that made me think flowers, so I've got you some envelope flowers in here to play with. We've got some reinforcements that have been sprayed, and you can use them on this bookmark. I love that glitter. That kind of just makes me happy. Courage. This is one of the courage cards. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. And some pretty little leaves in here, and a small bookmark for you. Don't forget that you have all kinds of fibers to play with. This is from two gentlemen from Verona. Some Hebrew text. A Spanish lesson. I took French in school. I didn't take Spanish. And I don't remember very much of it at all. I love cardinals. You know, when you see a cardinal, that means a soul that's passed along is thinking of you. And I made some bluebirds for us to use in these books. This is a travel photo of Italy, a dress form, some pattern paper. This was an old doily that was just so pretty, and I thought that it might inspire you to use some fabric in your creations. This is from Sears. This is an old piece of advertising from Sears and Roebuck. I love this. It's a lace fern, and I remember when I grew these. You know, long time ago, I had some lace ferns. Make today beyond amazing. We've got the Great American Recipe cards that talk about the Jell-O things. I don't think people do that anymore. This is a value stamps. You know, we talked about green stamps and things like that. I love this one because it says, for age and want, save while you may. No morning sun lasts a whole day. It's Benjamin Franklin. This is a sweet photo of a lady at just the height of health. A well-nourished person has strong, well-shaped bones, firm, vigorous muscles, and erect posture, and her eyes will sparkle with the zest of life. Wow. So you could use that as a cue to think about your health. You know, do you want to make some changes for 2018? Do you want to kind of change the way you eat or exercise? It's always a good time to think about things like that. This is a little pocket. Ephemera. again from the Nielsen's, but this time they're at 75 Brentwood Street in Woodfords, Maine. This is from 1917. It's a note to Mrs. Nielsen about a book that she has ordered. Oh my goodness. It is absolutely so beautiful. When you think that you're holding something that is 100 years old in your hand and you can still read it and it's still all in one piece, it amazes me. We've got a little piece of the 1935 journal right here. This starts June the 27th. That's some paper for you to play with. This is just a smattering of travel brochures from New Hampshire. It's the Natural Science Center, fishing in New Hampshire, and whale watching in New Hampshire. I just thought they all went together quite nicely. And then we've got some coffee in the back for you. And like I said, when I got to that page, I thought, well, let's see if this will close. And, I mean, literally it wouldn't. So I had to start taking things out. But, oh well, you know, at least I didn't have to sit on it to make it close. This journal is $35. And she'll go in the shop later on today. And World is $45. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Have a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care, y'all. Bye.